fellow heroes, it is I, Mr. U, the comic hero, and it is time for the Master Maneuver. The Master Maneuver is a time when I can take some space away from Comic Hero University and do my second love, which is board games. Typically, the last few Master Maneuvers have involved me playing the Final Girl, and that will continue on today. Last couple weeks in Comic Hero U have been very busy. As I mentioned a couple weeks ago, with the May push, we had a board game night on Wednesday, and then the week before we had we had an art show. That's right. We had an art gathering where people come together and they can do some drawings and stuff. And then tomorrow we have a tournament for Restoration Games Unmatched. So if you are local to the Montclair Place Mall and you want to play in a tournament for a board game, Unmatched is the game. If you don't know how to play Unmatched, there's plenty of videos online and that'll show you how to play Unmatched. Very, very fun game. And we will be running a tournament for that tomorrow. Outside of that, it's been a typical week for Comic Hero University. The next week is going to be a massive week with a lot of second prints and facsimiles of DC and Marvel crossovers, so that'll be a lot of fun. But anyway, let's dive into some Final Girl. Final Girl, if you are not already aware, is a board game where you are the final girl of a horror film. And so you are tasked with killing the killer of the board game and rescue as many victims as you can. The more victims you rescue, the more powerful you become. The more victims the killer kills, the more powerful they become. And the game is also interchangeable. So there's a lot of gameplay that you can get from having a large number of these different feature films for Final Girl. Today will be the final Season 1 game. We've done all the major feature films, but today we're going to be doing the smaller vignette, Terror from Above. And that'll be very, very fun. So why don't we take a look and see what is different when it comes to a small vignette. So what we see here, typically this side of the board will have the killer board, but a vignette is much smaller. There's no actual killer in a vignette. What we're doing, like I said, is Terror from Above. So think of Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, because we got a bunch of birds on the board, and the birds are running amok and they want to harm us. So all we have on the killer board is the finale card and the dark power card. We have the bloodlust card and then how to spawn more birds. What you do with the vignette is you can basically take the vignette, which will take the place of the killer, and use any location from any feature film that you own. I rolled the magic die, and the die said that for today we're going to be playing in Maple Lane. For those of you that remember, this is where Dr. Fright comes from. The big thing with Maple Lane is you have these little neighborhoods, right? The northeast, northwest, southwest, southeast. In order to get into a house, if there is a victim in the house, we have to convince them to let us into the house. We can search every home. Every home is considered to be like a searchable space. Once we search a home space, we cannot search that space because we found the item that is there in the home. You have exit points on the northeast, west, and south. These are considered streets, and that's pretty much it. But let's take a look at what the items are that we have on Maple Lane. So in the northwest quadrant, we have the archery. We have the archery bow, and the archery bow pretty much has it doesn't alter a card. It just has uses on it. And what you do is you just use it, and you lose 2 time, and then you can damage something within 1 or 2 range. And it just does 1 damage, but it also has to be done in a street, so you can't do it indoors because you will start plugging holes in the walls. We also have a crucifix. A crucifix can either ignore the horror level increase, or it would prevent a killer from moving into our space. We don't have to worry about that with the birds, because the birds don't actually move. They kind of just stay where they're at. We also have this pitchfork. The pitchfork is a two-handed item. It does 1 extra damage, but we can discard it at any time to prevent any damage done to us. So it's like, we're using it and then it breaks as we attempted to defend ourselves against an attack. And then in the last room, we have the fireworks. Fireworks, you spend 2 time, you drop the fireworks, and when the killer moves, the killer will go into the space with the fireworks. However, like I said, the birds don't move, so I feel like all of these items are going to be fairly useless to us. The pitchfork might be the most benefit, maybe even the archery bow, just if the birds start to overwhelm us, just to kind of thin down that herd a little bit. So let's talk about the birds a little bit. So the birds, like I said, they don't move. Their killer action here is they attack where they are, and there are dozens of birds already on the map. So if anybody's in one of those spaces, they will attack, and we'll just go clockwise if any victims are in those spaces. And then there's this little bird foot icon. When we see that bird foot icon, we look at the spawn birds. Spawn birds, we're going to roll 2 dice. And when we roll the 2 dice, we can use the result of any of the 2 dice to spawn a bird and to pick where the birds are going to spawn. So one die will tell us how many birds are going to spawn, and the other die is going to tell us where they are going to spawn. And we can pick and choose. Like if we roll a 6 and a 1, we may want 1 bird that'll spawn, and then the 6 tells us that it'll spawn in our space. So, or we can get 6 birds that'll spawn, and then we can distribute them in any spaces. So you can alternate that either which way, however you want to, whatever looks of benefit to you. Now the bloodlust, they've got a very small bloodlust board here. They've only got 4, and once we get up to the top, they just start hitting us, and we start discarding terror cards. So that's not very, very good. So as the birds start to spawn, when we start adding more, there's this bird here. This bird, let's get a little closer so you can take a look. This bird here is 3 birds in one space. Once you have 3 birds in a space, you can't actually spawn any more birds in those spaces. So what do? You start putting birds into adjacent spaces. If there are 3 birds in all spaces, we lose the game. So we will need to thin the birds down a little bit. Let's go over the rules for how the birds work. So the terror from above comes with these little cards that you use to explain how the birds work. So we've gone over, okay, so how to win. The win conditions are different for this expansion series since there's no killer. All the birds are considered minions. That's important because victims typically don't follow you from their spot into a killer spot, but because these are minions, they will move into a minion spot. So to win, we must save all special victims. This is important. As we pull event cards, special victims will show up. However, we will ignore any event card that pulls in a special victim because the special victims will appear in a different fashion in this game. And so we can decide before we play whether we want to make it easy, normal, or hard. Let's make it hard. Let's get 3 guys. The level of difficulty will also be affected by the final goal you choose based on how difficult their ultimate ability is to unlock. The special victims will only come out of hiding if and when one of the following conditions occurs. When we unlock our ultimate ability, or there are no more victims on the board. So if we've rescued enough victims to give ourselves the ultimate ability, then they will appear on the board. However, if the victims have all been killed or whatever, and there's none left, then the special victims will show up. Now, the special victims, when they appear, we place the special victim meeples in the farthest search spaces from me, with no more than 1 in a single space. So, considering that the houses are all considered search spaces, we're going to put the special victims in those spaces, but they are going to be the 3 spaces farthest away from us. And then the special victims can never be attacked or killed, but for all other purposes are treated like normal victims. So that's good. Once they appear on the board, all we have to do is get them and move them um, out of the board. Now we lose immediately if there are 3 birds on every space of the board, or if the final girl dies. The birds all have 1 hit point. Again, because they're considered minions, if we attack and we roll 3 damage, we can do 1 damage to each minion on the board. And the 3 birds are considered, the 3 bird token is considered to be 3 separate birds. So if we did 1 damage, then we take that one out and we put 2 little birds down. We spawn the birds. I've already shown you that card. Anytime a terror card shows up and has the movement icon, we're going to treat that movement icon as if it was a spawn a birds icon. Birds. If there are already 3 birds in that space, then we'll just have to start moving them closer to the spaces. So if 3 here, then we would have to spawn a bird in a space that is closest to it. But if that one had 3 and that one had 3, then we would be able to start putting birds in other places. The birds attack 1 target in their space, dealing damage equal to the number of birds in the space. So 1 bird does 1 damage, 2 does 2, 3 does 3. And the birds will always prioritize normal victims over the final girl if both are in the same space. And then birds can be attacked. You just need to do 1 damage to attack them. We can use reaction cards such as a guard card or a retaliate to defend against the attacks to prevent them from killing the victims. And if for whatever reason an event card or a terror card, something doesn't work, then we just skip it and flip over another one. With the items, we get what we get. We can't skip an item if it doesn't work in this game. And that's pretty much it. So we've gone over the items. We know how Maple Lane works. We know how the birds work. We are playing in the Quiet Place setup. So if you take a look at the setup, we've got the final girl on the left-hand side, and then you got the main 3 birds on the right-hand side, and then you've got victims pretty much spread out in the northwest and southwest quadrant. 2 kids are playing in the street, and then you got people in the Smalley's house, and then right next to the boyfriend's house. So that is the setup there for the victims. And then let's take a look at our final girl. We're using the final girl that was found in the box with the Terror from Above. We're going to use Melanie here. Melanie, that's what she looks like. Looks kind of like Elsa Bloodstone from Marvel Comics, who has also been featured in the Marvel Rivals video game. So Melanie has a 6-slot rescue victim space. 2 of them will heal her for 1. 1 will decrease horror by 1. The bottom left will let us move 2 spaces. The other one lets us move 1 space. And then the last one, we can take a guard card. Her ultimate ability, should we receive it, look at her, she's all beat up, but still beautiful. Once per action phase, you may lose 1 health to deal 2 damage divided as you choose among enemies in your space. And for each additional victim saved, we restore 1 hit point. So she's pretty much designed to take out the birds once we get that ultimate ability. So we've gone over our final girl. We've gone over the setup card, the item cards, and how this game will work and how it varies from the other ones. Well, kiddies, the board is set. The mask is on. Let's ring the bell. And as we always start every Final Girl game, we have to start by pulling an event card before it goes into our turn. Under construction. I guess a big pothole or something. They won't let anyone through until it is fixed. Roll a die and place a roadblock token on the following exit space. 1 is west, 2 is east, 3 is north, 4 is south, 5 is east or west, 6 is north or south. Victims may not be saved from that space. Okay, so let's do a roll here. and see where the roadblock is going to be placed. We rolled a number 1. So number 1 tells us it's the west space. So it's the space that I am currently in. So no victims will be escaping through that space. That is fine. A little bit of a bummer because now not that we were able to go into that space to get that guy. So let's grab our starting cards and let's begin our first turn. We have 2 walks, 2 focuses, a short rest, and a weak attack. So we've got the 2 kids playing in the street, and I feel that they should be our priority. So we can move in this direction, maybe even just go all the way across this way to try to take out, these birds so that, we can thin out the 3-bird setup. And so we'll go in this general direction. So we'll just start crossing the street. So we're going to start the game with the walk. And as I usually do, I always try to keep at least 1 movement card in my hand. So I don't want to do 2 walks and then have nothing for movement in the subsequent turns. So we're going to go for a walk. This is turn number 1. Depending on what happens, we may end up in that space next to the bird, and then we can just attack that bird and get it off the board. Okay, or maybe we don't. We've got 1 and a conversion, so that is a fail. We can take the fail and just lose a hit point, move 1 space, and then lose 2 time. Time is our currency in the game. The more time that we have, the more we have to buy cards on this next turn. So I think we'll just take the loss, so that way we don't have to convert any cards. So we're just going to move the 1 space, take the 1 point of damage. We're going to lose 2 time, and that puts us in the space next to the bird. Even if we had gotten 1 success, we still would have only been able to move the 1. So let's, since we're in that space, do a weak attack, and then after the weak attack, we will try to focus up, and that would be the end of our turn. So let's see what happens here. Well, we've got another fail here. Now I feel like we're going to have to convert. So we can skip out on the focus. We'll get rid of our short rest, get rid of our focus to convert this die into a success. So that means we hit the bird for 1, and then the birds hit us for 1. This is already going absolutely terribly for us, but that's all right. We've only started the master maneuver. Okay, that is it for our first turn. We are now going to buy some cards. We have 4 time, and I think sprints are going to be in order here. So maybe we get a sprint card and a convince card for the next turn. So we can potentially just sprint all the way across this way to get these guys off the board, and then maybe convince ourselves to go up over here. So that'll the sprint card is 2 time, the convince card is 2 time, that's 4 time, that's all the time that we have. So let's do that. We have a walk card in our hand as well, so we're going to go walk, sprint, and convince, and then focus. These guys go over here, and then we reset the time to 6. Now it is the killer's turn. Okay, so the killer finale card basically is they're just going to attack anybody that's in their space, and then we're going to spawn some birds. So there are no victims in a space with a bird, so currently all the victims are safe right now. So we will spawn some birds. So we're going to roll 2 dice, and then we're going to see what we roll. That will dictate where we want to start placing some birds. Okay, we rolled a 2 and a 4. So we can either have, we can either place 2 birds at the nearest exit space and nearest to me. So we could put 2 birds here, because that is the nearest exit space to me. Or we can spawn 4 birds in any single space. So I think we should probably just spawn 2 birds. We don't want to start overwhelming ourselves. And so we're going to spawn 2 birds at the nearest exit space. So there's 2 birdies right in there. Now we draw a terror card. And let's see what we get as far as our terror goes. Bird wall. Victims may not be saved at an exit space if there are any bird tokens on the space. Each time a bird is killed, place a bird token on this card. When this card has 5 or more bird tokens on it, remove this card from the game. Excellent. Okay, so the birds just got a little power. And that is going to now slow us down because we need to kill the birds and I don't have an attack card in my hand. So that is a bit of a bummer. No victims were killed, so we don't panic anybody. There's nothing happening during the upkeep phase. So it is our turn. Okay, we need to kill some birds. So I don't have a search card, which means I can't even search for the archery bow. That is in the northeast side. So maybe we leave the kids in the middle of the street for now. And so we'll leave the kids in the middle of the street for now. We're gonna go into that house. And then let me answer this text message as it is now related to Comic Cure University. So one moment, please. And we're back. Okay, so we're going into my turn. So we're going to go into that space with the folks in this house here. We're going to leave the kids here. So if we can get in there, we'll just end our turn in there. Get a search card for the pitchfork, or maybe we just get a bigger attack to just try to whack some of these birds. So let's see here. All right, so we're gonna go for a sprint first. Okay, let's change up our dice. These ones have been bad luck. Okay, a 2 will be fine. Okay, we got 1 success. 1 success lets us move 2 spaces, so we're just going to end up in this space with that little bird. We've got a convince card in our hand. Oh, and we lose 1 time. We've got a convince card in our hand. So let's convince and see if we can convince them to let us in that space there. Okay, so we did not convince them to let us in. No success means we enter the house, we get punched in the face, and we end our turn. However, we don't lose any time that way. That will, do we risk it? I've already taken 2 damage. We've got 5 hit points. That would put us at 2 hit points left. But we'll have 5 time. And we can buy the search card and a guard card and a close call if we convert. I've got a walk and a focus. So let's do that. We're just going to convert. Let's see what happens. We're going to convert so we get 1 success, which allows us to enter. Well, we're going to lose the time anyway, so that's not going to work for us. Well, whatever. getting our booties kicked here by these birds. So we're going to move here. We're going to lose a time. And that's it. So that is all the time that we have left. So now we go shopping. We've got 4 time. Search card will let us get the pitchfork, which will allow us to do 1 additional point of damage. And we should get a guard card, or we can get a sprint card. We'll grab a sprint card that'll give us time to go in there. However, we won't be able to kill off those birds. We'll be able to kill 2 of those birds with a weak attack. But if we get a guard card, searching a guard card will make it so that we can travel safely across the board without getting the victims killed. So let's do that. We get our weak attack, our short rest, our focus, and our walk back. So we're going to take our sweet time as we move across the board. Okay, so that is all of our cards. So we just finished that. Time goes back up to 6. And let's see what the birds are going to do. So the birds attack, but there's nobody in a space with a bird. And so then they're going to spawn. So let's see what we spawn. Okay, we get 2 birds at your space, or 6 birds in any single space. I think 2 birds in my space will probably be the better way to go. We're going to try to leave that space anyway, or we could attack those birds in that space just to kill them off so that we can get rid of that bird wall. But then we won't be able to move anywhere. So maybe we do stay there. We'll search. We'll kill those birds off, and then we'll, if we need to, we can focus and short rest. That'll keep the walk and the guard cards in our hands. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to place 2 little birds in the house, and they just busted through the window. Okay, now let's see what terror card befalls us. Increase horror by 2. Fantastic. It puts us at 6. Now we got to decrease horror for sure. If there is at least 1 special victim in play, we spawn some birds, but there are none, so we are good. Okie dokie. No victims were killed, so there's no panic phase. There's nothing going on during the upkeep phase, so it goes back to our turn. So the first thing we want to do is we want to search, because the search will give us the pitchfork, which lets us do an extra point of damage, which will let us kill 2 of those birds when we attack. So we're going to go for a search as our first action. We are rolling so bad. We need to keep this short rest. We want to keep that focus. We want to keep the weak attack. So I guess we can discard the... we're going to discard the walk and the guard card for a success that lets us take the top item card from our space. So we grab the pitchfork, and we lose 1 time. Okay. The dice are not being kind to us today. Now we're going to go for a weak attack. Okay, we got 1 success. 1 success means we do 1 damage, but with the pitchfork we do an additional damage, so we do 2 damage. That kills off 2 birds. 1 and 2. We need to kill 3 more birds. And then we take 1 damage. Okay, so that's it for that. Now now we should probably do a short rest. Let's do a focus first. We're going to do a focus. And then we're going to do a short rest, and then that's it for us. Well, that did nothing, so we lose 2 time. Ugh! We are rolling like absolute doo-doo. Okay, so this focus did nothing for us, and then finally we'll go for a short rest. Alright folks, this is not going good for us. This is going straight to the toilet. Okay, so we have completely fumbled the master maneuver here. We increase our health by 1, decrease horror by 1, decrease time by 1, and then our turn is over. So now we go shopping with 2 time. We're going to get a focus and a walk back. We're not going to be able to attack on this next turn. So we can't run anywhere because there's birds everywhere. The birds will attack and kill off our victims. We need to kill 3 more birds. I can sell off these 2 cards to give me 2 more time. Buy a Furious Strike for the next turn. Do nothing on this upcoming turn. No, because these cards aren't in my hands. So I don't have any cards to spend. I don't need a convince card because there's nowhere for us to go to convince anybody unless we... No. I think the best course of action is just to be defensive. We'll get another guard card, and we're just going to take our time as we move across the board. So we took the guard card, and that makes all these other cards go back into the tableau. This may be a very short game, kids. So we got a walk, a focus, and a guard card in our hand. So now it's back to the birds. So the birds are going to attack. There's nobody to attack, but now we got to spawn some birds. Okay, we get 1 bird in the nearest search space, which would be the space that we are in. Or we get 3 birds distributed in any spaces. And I think with the way this is going, we should probably get 1 bird in the nearest search space, which will be in there with us. Okay, well that's when you want to roll low. Okay, but again, we cannot attack. So we have to be very careful where we're going to take our victims. Okay, so now a terror card. We have, did you hear what happened on Maple Lane? We have an event, and then we draw the next terror card. So the first event we get is, it's raining. Panic victims in the intersection. Then move every victim that is on a street space to its adjacent residence space or house space. Okay, so we're going to panic these guys. So stop playing in the street, kids. And let's see where we go. Okay, so one of you goes up into the space. 3. The other one goes into this space. Okay, so what that does, and then they move into the nearest house, which is this one here, and then this guy goes running into the Smalley's house. Okay, so they're still very safe. This one is gone, and now we're going to pull another event card. Oh no. What is going on over there? There's a lot of commotion on Maple Lane. I'm going to go see what's up. Place 1 new victim on each exit space. And then we discard this card. Oh man. Okay, let's see what happens here. Okay, so you go there. And then you go here. Boy, we're going to lose 4 victims on this next turn. You go there. And then you go down here. Okay, that is Bad News Bears. And then we have to draw the next tarot card. Okay, and the next tarot card. If there are no victims on exit spaces that have at least, if there are no exit spaces that have at least one victim, discard and draw the next tarot card. Otherwise, place the killer on any exit space that has at least one victim. Place the killer. Okay, how does the book? Let me see the rules here, because we could potentially play this one. So when it specifically mentions the killer, how do we treat that? Let's see here, bird. Some terror and event cards refer to the killer. There is no killer, as the birds are minions. In these instances, do the following. If a card specifies for the killer to move, spawn birds instead. If a card specifies for the killer to be placed somewhere. Okay, so we just treat the card like normal. Place the killer on any exit space that has at least one victim. So when it says to place a killer somewhere, considering that the killer doesn't actually even need to move because they're already there, we have to spawn birds. So we get the worst possible roll: 5 birds in my space, or 6 birds in the nearest victim's space. Well, let's do 5 birds in my space. So we can place 2 birds in this space, which puts 3 birds here. We can put 2 birds in this space, which puts 3 birds here. That's 4 birds. And then there's 1 more bird that we can place, which has to be adjacent to one of these spaces. And the worst situation would be if we put a bird in that space. Then they attack. So they're all going to attack, and they're going to target the nearest final girl or victim. So this person is dead. 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 Both of these victims are dead, and I have taken a point of damage. Okie doke. However, there were, 7 victims killed in 1 turn. Thank you so much. So the bloodlust track is going to go up 7. So we go up 1. We get an event card. And the event that we get is Party in the Burbs. Place 4 new victims in any house that contains at least 1 victim. If none do, place them in the intersection. Place 4 new victims in any house that contains at least 1 victim. Well, we can place 4 victims in any house. I don't think it's going to matter. I think we just lost this one. So let's grab 4 victims, and we're going to put these victims in the Smallies' house. Smallies are having a party. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so that. Let me discard that card. Then that tarot card is done. Holy crap. Okay, now we got to increase, or we still got to increase terror. So that was just 1, and then this is 2. So we increase the bloodlust track, or increase horror, but because there is no more we're on already at the end of the horror track. So now bloodlust increases by another 1. So that's 2. And then this is going to be 3 because of the bloodlust track. So now we reveal the birds' dark power. Birdnado. Oops. During the upkeep, if there are 10 or more total birds in your space and adjacent spaces, I lose 3 health. Ooh, boy. I don't think that's going to matter. I literally think we died this turn. Okay, so that was 3. Now this is 4. We increase horror again, which increases the bloodlust track. So the bloodlust track, here, so you guys can see, goes up. So now we have to discard a terror card. And then we lose another victim. So we lose another terror card. And then we do that again. So we lose another terror card. Then we go again. Lose another terror card. And we go again. And lose another terror card. So we have 1 terror card left. Shoot. That was a terrible turn. I'm rolling the absolute worst. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So yeah, we went 1, 2, 3, 4. And then lost 5 cards in the process. So, yeah, that's awful. That's awful. Okay, so victims were killed, but there are no victims in these spaces to panic. And nothing happens during the upkeep phase. During the upkeep, if there are 10 or more birds in your space and adjacent spaces. So, there are 6 birds, so we're safe for now. Oh boy, we got a walk, a focus, and a guard, and I've only got one focus card. So we're rolling 1 die. And we got a fail. We have to get rid of the walk and the guard card in order to convert. To give us 1 success, we lose 1 time. I mean, it's just unfortunate, but that's what has to happen. Okay, so I think for the interests of ourselves and survival, we are going to, since we have no cards, we are going to just buy a retaliate card to hopefully kill off all the birds in our space, and we'll get a close call. Plus, we'll get a short rest, focus, weak attack, and a walk card. That is all we got. I have no hope that we are going to make it through this one. We have completely fumbled the master maneuver. Okay, so now it is the birds' turn. Birds are going to attack, but we are going to retaliate in our space. So the birds are doing 3 damage to us. Okay, we got 1 success. 1 success reduces the damage by 2, so we take 1. We do 1 damage back, so we kill 2 birds, so there's 1 bird left in that space. We now, because we have 1 hit point left, get to roll an additional die. Okay, so then we got to spawn some birds. We get 1 bird. 1 bird in my space. Okay, we'll take that. And then, terror card. Increase the horror by 2 if there is at least 1 special victim in play. Okay, so 1 and 2, which would increase our bloodlust by 1. But we can't discard another terror card. So if we can't discard another terror card, the finale gets revealed. So that's what happens. We reveal the finale. And the finale that we get is when spawning birds, you must select the higher result for number of birds to place. And then we have to spawn birds, attack, and then spawn more birds. We are so dead. We are so dead. Okay. We only killed... Oh, wait a minute. We did kill 2 more birds. If we kill 1 more bird, we can start escaping with people, but we haven't been able to get anything. Okay, so we have 1 hit point. I think we should focus first so we get that extra die in. Okay. Okay. Not that it matters, but we increase horror or decrease horror by 1 and increase time by 2. That puts us at 8 times. Okay. Where were these rolls when we actually needed them? Alright, now we've got a weak attack here. I think we should probably move and then try to kill 3 birds. But we can only kill 2 birds. So, actually, you know what we should do first? Well, no, we want to keep those 3 dice. So let's stay where we are. Oops, we also need to put a little X right here to show that we searched that space. Let's just weak attack here first. Then we'll short rest and we'll keep the walk card in our hand. So we're going to weak attack first. I could end up killing myself. Okay, 2 successes means we just hit the birds, nothing back to us, so that is 2 dead birds. So that gets rid of that minor dark power. So the bird wall is gone. Not that it matters. Okay. Now we should go for a walk, and I think we should start going this way and maybe start grabbing some of the people out of this house, because now they will follow us into an exit space. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go for a walkies next. We're going for some walkies. Alright, still rolling the 3 dice. Okay, we got 1 success, which means we just moved the 1 space, and I think that will effectively kill us. Move up to 1 space. Decrease time by 1. What was I thinking? What was I thinking doing that? We can't end in the space with the birds. We'll end up dead. So we're just going to stay where we are. Now we're going to short rest. One success on a short rest gives us 1 hit point. We get 1 hit point back. So then we lose that extra die, and the only thing that we keep is the close call, and we lose 1 time. So we're back to 6 time. Second. Okay, we got 6 time. And then give me a second. I need to check another text message. I'll be right back. Okay, so we got 6 time to play with. Let's buy some cards. Sprint card, a convince card. That is 3, 4. And guard card, I think, are in our future here. And then we're going to get a focus and a walk back. All these go back into the tableau. Okay. So Okay, that's it for us. Let's see if we can survive another turn. The birds are going to spawn. So first things first is we're spawning some birds. And now because of the finale card, we're going to get 6 birds in the nearest search space, which is the space that I am in. We get 3 birds in there. And now the birds are going to attack. So that's 3 damage done to me, which will effectively kill me. So let's see if we live to fight another day. And nope, we have been killed. We have been pecked to death. We have lost this maneuver. It didn't help that we were rolling like absolute trash. But that's okay. That's okay. We lost 7 victims in 1 turn, and that was, I think, the worst combination that we could have gotten. Spawn birds in the exit space, or spawn victims in exit spaces, and then the birds all attack. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Okay, well, that's it, kids. That's the end of this master maneuver. So join me next week when we continue to master. Well, no, not next week. Next week I will be off. I'm unavailable next week. But the week after, we're going to start season 2. We have now completed all of season 1. We went, what was it? 3 and 3. We went 3 and 3 on season 1. And once we've completed all of the seasons, that's when I'll start mixing and matching. By the time we get to season 3, I should have all of season 4, so that we can mix and match everything. We've gone through all the terror cards. Let's see what was in the search, all in the search deck. So we saw the bow. In that same stack, we would have gotten some lucky dice, which you can discard to reroll any of your dice. And there was also a knife, which is a one-handed item that does an extra point of damage. So instead of the pitchfork, which would was a two-handed item, this one was one. There's in the space with the crucifix, there was another crucifix, and whoops, an energy drink. An energy drink, we can increase time by 3 or move a space. And let's see where we got the pitchfork. We also had another crucifix and the megaphone. This could have been useful. Once per action phase, you may move any victim on the board 1 space, but then the killer will target the final girl and move, which would mean that every time I use this, it would just spawn more birds. So while that one is good, typically when you fight a killer on his own against the birds, I don't think that would do very good. Trash can lid. Ignore up to 1 damage. There's 3 uses, so you can ignore up to 3 damage. And a machete. This would have been nice. Victims will not follow you while the machete is in your hand, but you do 2 extra damage. Again, not that we were trying to kill the birds. What we needed to do was rescue some victims, and I wasn't able to rescue any at all. But that is how this game goes, kids. You know, sometimes you do really well, and then sometimes the dice don't allow you to do much of anything. But this was still a lot of fun for me. I still very much enjoyed it. This has probably been the shortest game that I've played on stream. But that's how it goes. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Again, we'll see you in 2 weeks when we start Season 2. And you guys have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you soon.